except where them hands, where them holes, where them throws, you know what I'm saying? Cecil.
This is sort of a response to the video done by Anthony Brian Logan, where he's asking, was Melvin Harris III really defending his daughter? I mean, Mr. Logan, in my opinion, pretty much said anything and everything I could possibly hope to say on this topic. But I feel like I want to hammer in on some points, especially from a martial arts self-defense perspective. So I'm going to put a link to his video below this, but just as a summary in case some of you don't know. This is an incident where a teenage girl was in a bathroom stall. Some guy went into the bathroom, jiggled the doorknob handle on the stall that she was in to try to get in. He couldn't get in, so he left. So the guy leaves the gas station store. The daughter comes to the father and says to the father, this guy tried to break into the stall. So the father went inside the gas station and thought security. Either security put the guy out then or had already put the guy out. But the father says to security, either you guys are going to take care of him or I am. But what happens is the father goes up to the guy after the girls have pointed him out. So this is after the fact. He goes up to the guy, get into an altercation. He ends up punching the guy once. Guy falls down on the ground and hit his head, and then he gets on top of the guy, according to witnesses, and beats him to death. So this is one of those cases, and I said as much when I left a comment on the video. This is one of those cases where, first of all, I understand why the father did what he did, and I'm not mad at him, but you cannot do that legally. You legally cannot do that. And this is an approach or response to self-defense that, although, like I said, I understand, and I ain't mad at you, but I could not, would not, should not do that myself. And I also cannot, do not, and shall not endorse any student of mine responding in that way. Okay? Now, maybe we can put this in my list of I'm not the martial arts instructor for you. Because if you think that you're supposed to be able to go around and beat men to death because they make your daughter feel bad or feel scared, that's not what we got to be about in the martial arts. Now, again, like I said, I am no saint. If it was my daughter, I'd want to hurt him too, but I would hope that I'd have enough self-control and enough restraint not to. Like Anthony Brian Logan says in his video, the thing to do, since this was after the fact, was since everybody had ID the guy, you call the police, you point him out to the police, everybody testifies as to what he did or does. The police probably have a record on that guy anyway if he's doing something like that. And then at that point, you let the police handle it, and you go to court when you call the court, etc., etc., etc. See, this is what you need to understand, especially martial artists, because, people are going to come to a martial artist and say, you got to protect me. You've got to defend me. If you've got a daughter, you're going to feel like you've got to protect and defend your daughter. Now, let's just take this beyond it just being your daughter, your precious baby girl. Guys, women expect us to protect and defend them. And even if they don't necessarily expect you to do it, if there's a woman or a girl or a female and you're a man and you care about her at all, if she's in any kind of harm's way whatsoever, unless she's found a way to get on your last nerve or something like that to where hey, she's caused this one, I'm just going to let her take these lumps. If it's not one of those, you're going to want to protect her. But you got to remember this. When you leave and come back, you are not defending. When the initial confrontation is over and you go after the person, you are not protecting. That is not protecting. That is not defense. That is attacking. The attorney Andrew Bronca says in a lot of his videos, when they're talking about people getting in trouble, quote unquote, for a fight, someone starts a fight, they get into it, then they stop, then someone leaves the area where the fight is, it comes back with a gun or baseball bat or any type of weapon, that's two different fights. That's two different encounters. You are not protecting anybody. When you leave and come back, or when the threat is over, and then you do something, you're starting up another fight. Then at that point, you become the bad guy. Then at that point, you roundhouse kick the person in the head, you punch them in the chest too hard, you leave that choke on them a little bit too long, you throw them just a little bit too hard on the concrete with that ippon, you break something and they bleed out. You have become the aggressor because the fight, the threat, the whatever it is, the bad interaction between two people is over. That's not protecting. I'm gonna give you an example, personal example from my own life. Many, many years ago, and this is when I was a kid, one kid hit a girl that was a friend of mine in the head with a metal ruler. Now, I didn't even quote unquote like this girl or have a crush on this girl or anything. She was just my friend. So he hit my friend in the head with the metal ruler. Hit her to the point where it bust her head down to the white meat. So what did I do? I don't even know how I did that because I don't think I could do it now. I swear I jumped over 3 bus seats like Superman in the air. I landed on the kid that had hit her with the ruler. And I had a metal lunchbox in my hand, so you know how long ago this was. And I punched the other kid in the face. He was all welted up on the face. I punched him till he dropped the ruler and started crying. Now, he could have very well easily have stabbed me with that ruler. And I might not be here, or I might be disfigured. But he didn't. Because he was in shock when I jumped at him. Because, bullies a lot of times don't expect you to fight back. So that's one advantage you may have. If you want some surprise, they're surprised that somebody's actually doing something. So I jumped in the air. I landed on his hand so he couldn't hit me. Knelt on him and then just went to wailing. I was so bad. I realized like the lunchbox was getting dented up. I'm messing up the lunchbox. I let go of that and then started hitting him again with my hand. But of course, some adult came and broke that up. But that kid's face was lit up like he had been bitten by a swarm of bees. Okay. And then it was all the crying and everybody's crying and there's yelling. And I'm in the principal's office and I'm kicked out of the school. Until I was kicked out of the school, mind you, until the girl's mom brought her daughter in there, didn't take her to the emergency room, and showed the principal the wound and even peeled it back so you could see the wound was down to the white meat. And then pointed at the principal's face and said, "You do something! You do!" I still remember it. "You do something!" And then they're yelling. And then at this point, my mama was like quietly happy. Because first I was in trouble. "How dare you? Boy, why'd you do this? And you fighting." And I just kept saying, because I was the child, just kept saying, "He hit," girl's name. "He hit," girl's name. I'm not going to say her name. I could use the first name, but she knows who she is. "You hit," girl's name, right? "He hit," girl's name. I just kept saying it over and over again. I was real mad and pouty, right? And then everybody's like, "You can't just do that because someone hit someone, young man, blah, blah, blah." Not thinking about the total ramifications of the hit. So, they ended up kicking him out of school. I get suspended. I'm guessing the girl went to the emergency room. I think that's what she said happened. And that was the end of that. Now, years later, when she saw me with my son and I introduced him, I was like, "Hey, yes, this is my son. This is someone I went to school with." And she said, "Oh yeah, I remember your father. He protected me from the bully's name." Now, did I protect her? At this point, I don't know. Because the threat was technically over after she got hit once. All I remember is I know he hit her with the ruler, and someone told me he hit her with the ruler, and I looked and I saw that she was bleeding, she was crying, and I saw him gloating. and then I jumped over there. So did I protect her? Probably not. Probably not. I'm going to assume that since I got suspended for the action, I probably didn't technically protect her. It was probably retaliation. I think the only way I would have been able to say I was protecting her is if I was sitting in the same seat or a seat next to the girl that he hit with the ruler. He hit her, then I immediately respond to defend. But then again, I don't know, because we're talking over 30 years ago. I don't remember what happened. For real, for real. We're literally talking like over 30 years ago. So, and and this is children. So, this is children. But this is the thing though. My point is, I understand motivation. I understand you want to protect the people that you love. But it's not protection if the threat is over. Once the violence has stopped ensuing, it's over. That's it. And again, I understand, man. That's why, and just like, I'm gonna close on this, just like Anthony Brian Logan said in his video, if the guy felt that strongly about it, he should have went for a jury trial. Melvin Harris III should have went for a jury trial. And I agree. Because I bet you if I was on that jury, I'd be like, he ain't getting the maximum sentence, that's for sure. Maybe we can say he was temporarily insane or something like that. Which I could give him. I would, if I'm on a jury, I could see not guilty by reason of temporary insanity because of how the idea of somebody possibly violating your child could just drive you out of your mind, even for a split second. So I might be able to go with that. But again, we got to remember, and I say we, I mean this, well, on this channel, I definitely mean this in a martial artist sense of the word, but men, period. This is where your self-control, one of the tenets of Taekwondo, self-control comes in handy. You have to have the self-control to not beat people to death just because you want to. And those of us who know how to hurt people, we really have to be careful. Because if you've got any type of pugilistic combat sport in you or martial arts training in you that does striking, you can kill somebody. Even those of you who do grappling, if you know any of those judo throws, you can kill somebody with that throw. You could choke somebody to the point with your jiu-jitsu, your Brazilian jiu-jitsu. You can kill somebody. There's even a Taekwondo leg choke. Yes, there's a Taekwondo leg choke. A lot of people don't know that Taekwondo leg choke. We don't use it in competition because the choke is super easy to do, first of all. It's super easy, and it's also super effective. Extremely effective. And it's super simple. I could show anyone how to do that leg choke, and they could hurt somebody with it. It's just that effective. The only body part it might not work on would be an arm or a leg. But anything on the torso and the neck with that, you can take somebody out of here with that choke I'm talking about. Super easy leg choke. In fact, when the guy taught it to me, I said, what kind of choke is this? He said, it's just leg choke. It's that easy. Just do that one. He said, that's all the leg choke you need, man. And he was actually right. I found out years later and learned some other leg chokes. He was actually right. All I've ever really used is that one anyway. And maybe Sankaku Jime, just for contest. But I digress. So if you want to check out Anthony Brian Logan's video, please do. But if you want to just get a martial artist take on it, once you leave the area, you are not defending, you are attacking. You have to practice self-control so that you don't go around beating people to death just because you feel like it. Don't let anyone tell you that you have to protect them by attacking other people. Any woman that wants you to do that is not a woman that's worth your time. And especially if she ain't your wife, she ain't your mama, she ain't your sister, she ain't your daughter, she ain't got the right to try to tell you to put your hands on anybody. So thanks for watching this video. Like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this with people like to talk about the martial arts. And peace, and thank you for your time.